A judge used the words despicable and dangerous as he sentenced Ariel Castro in a Cleveland courtroom today. Castro is the man who imprisoned 3 women in his home, subjecting them to physical and sexual abuse for more than a decade. The sentence was no surprise, but what Castro said today was he was delusional, he was unrepentant, and he claimed the women lived a happy life with him. Brian Moore reports.
In a Cleveland courtroom, one of the 3 women kidnapped and held as sexual prisoner confronted Ariel Castro, the man who stole 11 years of her life.
We said we will someday make it out alive, and we did.
21 when Castro kidnapped her back in 2002, Michelle Knight says she's satisfied to know her tormentor will never again walk free.
I spent 11 years in hell. Now your hell is just beginning.
At his sentencing on 937 criminal counts, prosecutors offered a grim tour of the house that was a prison to Knight, Gina DeJesus, Amanda Berry, and Berry's 6-year-old daughter fathered by Castro. For years, the women were confined in this lightless 3 by 4 meter room or tied to a pole in this basement. With these locks and chains, he held them captive and controlled their lives. He even taunted his victims by showing them their own missing posters like this one. But Castro offered a very different view of his house of horrors.
There was harmony in their home.
He said he did his best to give his 6-year-old daughter a normal upbringing and denied he's what prosecutors describe a monster.
I'm not a monster. I'm a normal person. I am just sick. I have an addiction, just like an alcoholic has an addiction.
In his own journals, Castro described himself as a sexual predator. He claims he was a victim of sexual abuse, but says Knight, Berry, and DeJesus stayed on willingly.
In your mind, there was harmony and a happy household. I'm not sure there's anybody else in America that will agree with you.
The judge sentenced him to life plus 1,000 years without parole. 3 young women are now reunited with their families.
She lives not as a victim, but as a survivor.
And as they enjoy new lives of freedom, the man who held them captive is now in chains himself, beginning the rest of his life behind bars. Brian Moore, Global News, Washington.